if there is something as close to a monolithic force, that is the force of international capital. Ethnic associations, nationalistic associations do not mean anything. What matters most is profits. There are no allegiances, and every single thing that liberal capitalist governments do is done at the behest of ensuring that profit margins continue to expand. But given technological innovation, streamlining the productive process, automation, profit rates have a tendency to decline. So these guys look for newer and different ways in which they can continue increasing profit margins. One way to do that is by basically enslaving the global south. Your enemy are not your neighbors. Your enemy are not Jews. Your enemy is not random undocumented migrants. People who have the same class position as you have the same class interests as you, whether they recognize it or not. And fascists routinely disrupt this way of thinking. This is how they behave at the behest of capital. It is not only an unnecessary distraction, but it is one that has, at least historically, led to unlimited violence. So just as the Trump administration says, it's actually the Guatemalan migrants that are fucking up your life, or it's the transgenders that are ruining your life, and then they hyper-focus on these people, these subgroups, and turn them into enemies because they're much easier to discard. People are much happier with discarding these groups because they are not a part of it and they can be conditioned into hating them. Fascists will turn around and say the ultimate enemy, specifically anti-Semitic fascists, neo-Nazis and the like, will say the ultimate enemy are the Jews. Now, of course, unlike the Guatemalan undocumented migrant or the transgender person, Jews in the United States of America, at least right now, not the same throughout history, but at least in modernity, are not systematically disenfranchised. This is part of the reason why these people can take advantage of the unlimited enmity that Israel has caused, while simultaneously conflating all of its actions as actions being done at the behest of international Jewry and Judaism. The American fascist of a neo-Nazi variety and the American fascist of the Zionist variety end up handshaking when they say the exact same thing. Israel is doing this for Jews, and you are an anti-Semite if you actually criticize Israel. That is the woke version of dual loyalty. There is very little, with the exception of the hatred that Nick Fuentes has for Israel and Jewish people. There is very little difference in the starting premise between Nick Fuentes and Jake fucking Tapper. They both believe Israel represents and Zionism represents all Jews' interests. There is very little difference between Jake Tapper and someone like Ethan Klein, who is a liberal Zionist. All of these people I'm describing all say the same thing. One simply says this is a bad thing, and one says it's a good thing. That's it. Just to pack this up one more time, I'm just going to refer to my GOAT, a man who also addressed this at the time of growing fascism. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin says anti-Semitism means spreading enmity towards the Jews. When the accursed Tsarist monarchy was living its last days, it tried to incite ignorant workers and peasants against the Jews. The Tsarist police, in alliance with the landowners and the capitalists, organized pogroms against the Jews. The hate of the workers and peasants, the landowners and capitalists tried to divert against the Jews. In other countries, too, we often see the capitalists fomenting hatred against the Jews in order to blind the workers, to divert their attention from the real enemy of the working people, capital. Hatred towards the Jews persists only in those countries where slavery to the landowners and capitalists is established, abysmal ignorance among the workers and the peasants. Only the most ignorant and downtrodden people can believe the lies and slander that are spread about the Jews. This is a survival of ancient feudal times, when the priests burned heretics at the stake, when the peasants lived in slavery, and when the people were crushed and inarticulate. This ancient feudal ignorance is passing away. The eyes of the people are being opened. It is not the Jews who are the enemies. It is not the Jews who are the enemies of the working people. The enemies of the workers are the capitalists of all countries. Among the Jews, there are working people, and they form the majority. They are our brothers who, like us, are oppressed by capital. They are our comrades in the struggle for socialism. Among the Jews there are kulaks, exploiters and capitalists, just as there are among the Russians and among people of all nations. The capitalists strive to sow and foment hatred between workers of different faiths, different nations, and different races. Those who do not work are kept in power by the power and strength of capital. Rich Jews, like rich Russians, and the rich in all countries, are in alliance to oppress, crush, rob, and disunite the workers. Shame on accursed Tsarism, which tortured and persecuted the Jews. Shame on those who foment hatred towards the Jews, who foment hatred towards other nations. Long live the fraternal trust and fighting alliance of the workers of all nations in the struggle to overthrow capital. Do you now understand why it's fucking idiotic? No group of people are monolithic. If they were, Jews, especially in the United States of America, would be 100% invested in everything that Israel is doing, because Israel has tried. Israel has tried so fucking hard for so fucking long, for the past 80 years, to basically poison every single young American Jew's mind with unlimited support for Israel. That it's a incredibly important aspect of young American Jews' identity. If that was the case, there would be no discontent towards Israel by American Jews. It's so fucking stupid. Bro said this 100 years ago and we still haven't learned shit. Yeah, of course. Well, partially because he was seen as a threat to the international order and was presented as an enemy. This is why I consistently repeat that you have to understand exactly what the reason is. Like, if your hatred for Israel stems from enmity developed for Jews, if you consider Jews to be a monolithic force, if you do not believe in people's class positions, if you do not believe that people are subject to change their perspectives, if you feel like there is this intractable association that all Jews have towards the state of Israel, then you are going to be wrong. And not only are you wrong, but you are wrong in the same direction that Jake Tapper is wrong in. You are wrong in the same exact ways that Jake Tapper is wrong, because he also believes that Israel is profoundly important for all Jews and must be protected, in the same exact way that Candace Owens believes Israel is profoundly important for Jews who are a monolithic force, and therefore it must be destroyed. Zionism is a fascist ideology. And just like people of all different backgrounds can find themselves in the throes of fascist ideology through dedicated social conditioning, people can find themselves in the throes of Zionism. Those people can be convinced. Those people can change their minds. It's that simple. What makes Lenin and Hitler philosophically different from each other? Please let us know. I mean, this argument, this question, I don't know if you're asking in some sincere, cynical way, is one that I describe my personal worldview as one that is different from all of these motherfuckers that are on the right. I believe that people are a byproduct of nurture more than nature, in its simplest terms. People believe the things that they do and operate in the ways that they do because they're conditioned to believe certain things. People are, first and foremost, slotted out through their class position. The overwhelming majority, if not damn near 99.9% of the population of the planet, albeit in reductive terms, can be slotted into the category of a worker, a wage laborer, someone who works for another. And then the 0.1% can be slotted into the capitalist, the bourgeois, one who actually does not need to work a wage labor job and can simply accumulate capital by virtue of having it prior. This class alignment is defended, and capital owners are defended under a capitalist system so that exploitation can continue. And in the process, as conditions worsen, material conditions worsen, when there is volatility and anger and resentment in the air, capital owners will devise new ways of dividing the population to make sure that they do not recognize their class position, but instead recognize other qualities that create points of division, create anger and animosity. Someone's national background, someone's ethnicity, someone's religion, someone's documentation or immigrant status, and even someone's gender identity, someone's sexual orientation. These things do not matter. They don't. They're what make us human beings. We're different from one another, but ultimately we're all human. We're all the same. But the capital owner focuses on that to foment dissent, to foment division amongst the working class. Fascism is the most accelerated version of this division. And by design, at least historically, and it's certainly happening now, it has been applied in times of dire need for the capital owner to restore some semblance of control and to ensure that the hierarchies that exist under capitalism do not change. When capitalism inevitably decays material conditions for the working class, and the working class experience tremendous discontent, fascism kicks in to restore the same hierarchies to ensure that the capital owners who align themselves with fascists continue getting exactly what they've been getting out of the pre-existing capitalist order. Liberalism is failing. It is in decline. It is in crisis. This is why you are seeing fascism grow. Sounds woke to me, bro. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm woke. The problem is the overwhelming majority of the working class living in liberal capitalist countries like the United States of America or any number of different countries see themselves as capitalists as well. And they are fearful of this alternative. They're fearful of what they do not know. They think, they've been taught to think that any other system, any other organization of the economy would present a real danger, would actually cause irreparable harm. So therefore, they see the comforts of fascism as a way to say, hey, there are some evil people around us, my neighbors, other workers from different backgrounds. They are my enemies. This allows capital owners to continue exploiting all of the workers in the ways that they see fit. Why is liberalism in crisis? What led to its failure? I mean, it was always slated to fail because it does not address the major contradiction, the struggle between these two classes.